Hey fly tyers, Darren here. Welcome back to another fly tying tutorial. Today we're going to be tying the Fatal Attraction. This is a pattern by Dan Blanton. And thanks to Dan from the Facebook page for suggesting this one. This is a pretty simple fly pattern and can be tied in a number of different color variations such as a fire tiger or the one we're going to be doing today, which is basically silver and white. This has a longer than normal wing that you would see on this sort of fly, but because the wing is tied on top of the collar hackle, this kind of prevents it from getting fouled around the hook bend. The Flashabou is a key to the success of the fly, and basically when this was being designed, the silver Flashabou was meant to replace the flash of a silver spinner blade. This is a good fly for bass, trout, as well as saltwater aquaria. And you can add a little bit of weight if you would like. You can fish this lake or river. Lake fishing, you just use some short strips, and if you're fishing in a river, just cast this down and across and let it flow with the river. Let's have a look at the materials and get started. Let's get a fresh hook in the vise using a Superfly Salmon and Steelhead heavy wire hook today. This one's size 2. And we'll just start by putting a little bit of thread just to close up the eye. Alright, first we're going to take about 5 or 6 pieces of silver Flashabou for this variation. And we're going to tie that in starting here. So I just want to make that about the length of the hook. I'll tie that in here, a couple wraps. Fold that over, trim it off. And we've got enough here to make a second tail, so we'll just match that up. Couple wraps, fold over the excess, and you can trim that out if you like. And next we're going to take some flat diamond braid, and this is the silver color we're using here today. And tie that in right behind the loop of the eye. If you want, you can add some weight to this, and you can put that on before you do this, or you can add a few wraps of lead here. And we'll take that. I'm going to leave ourselves probably double what I would usually leave for an eye, or for a head, sorry. Just going to add a half hitch. And we're just going to put that on the bobbin rest. And I just want to kind of flatten out that braid so that it wraps flat. Alright, there we go. Get that bobbin rest out of the way. And we'll just put a wrap of thread there. Just tie that off. Pull that back. Lock it in place with a few wraps. Next I'm going to take a piece, you can use either schlappen or saddle hackle. I'm going to use a piece of schlappen here gives you a little bit more length. Like the fibers will have a little bit more length. If you use a saddle hackle, they'll be a little firmer, so you'll be able to push a little bit more water. These will give you a bit more motion. So just create a tie-in point, and we'll fold back the tip. Pull that off. And I'm just going to take our scissors, run them up the inside of the hackle. And we'll just wrap that forward. It's going to help keep the hair wing out of the hook bend so that it doesn't foul. It's a little bit easier to tie this with the hair wing first, and the collar over top kind of hides some of the bulk of the wing, but part of the reason for having this wing is just to, or the collar is to help prevent the hook from fouling, the wing from fouling. Alright, so give that a few wraps. Just going to lock that in place. I'm going to fold back the stem. Make sure it's locked tight. Trim that off. Next we're going to take a little bit of pearl crystal flash. I'm going to take about 3 or 4 strands, and I'm just going to tie those in and double them back just to make them a little fuller. And take that back to the tail. So tie them in, fold it back, trim them up. Next we're going to take a little bit of bucktail. You can use a variety of other hairs for this. You can use Arctic fox or synthetic or like a yak hair if you like. Just going to thin that out a little bit. And I'll just measure that about the length of the tail, maybe a touch shorter. Just grab those tips and we'll put our thread down to the eye. And give those some hard wraps back from the tie-in point. And I'm just going to come in here and trim some of that excess hair. Get a little bit tricky. We'll clean that up in a minute here. Alright, we're going to take another 3 strands of pearl crystal flash. I'm going to tie that in on top of the wing. So the wing, you've got the bottom layer of crystal flash, bucktail, and then a little bit more crystal flash. And we're going to come in and finish that with a little bit of peacock herl. Give that a nice bait fish look to it. Alright, so for the topping on this, I'm going to take about 4 nice pieces of peacock herl. Just want to make sure that the tips are somewhat lined up. And we'll just kind of put those over top of the head. Give them a few wraps. You see we got a few stray hairs down here, which should be fine. This head got a little bit bigger than I had expected. It's just a little tricky tying on camera here. I've got 4 or 5 lights around me and whatnot. So let's see if we can fix that a little bit. Well, that's going to have to do. Well, can't win them all. So this head's a little bit big, but you get the general idea of the fly. A lot of whip finish. And now you can go out and fish the fatal attraction. Good luck. Hey fly tiers, thanks for stopping by and watching my fly tying videos. Make sure you're subscribed and hit that bell icon to get notified on the latest fly patterns, tips, and reviews. If you've enjoyed the video, hit that like button and post a comment below. If you'd like to support the content on the channel and get rewarded, you can visit my Patreon page. Until next time, this is Darren saying, keep a hook in your vise. Cheers.